Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
The Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) was formally established in the year 2000 by the administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo. The task before the NDDC was very clear and devoid of any ambiguity whatsoever. In fact, as stated in the vision statement of the NDDC, its mandate is to facilitate the rapid, even and sustainable development of the Niger Delta into a region that is economically prosperous, socially stable, ecologically regenerative, and politically peaceful. To ensure that this task was carried out to the letter, President Obasanjo inaugurated the Pioneer Governing Board of the Commission on the 21st of December 2000. Chief Onyema Ogochukwu from Abia State was named chairman, while former Deputy Managing Director of Shell Nigeria, Engineer Godwin Omene from Delta State, was appointed as Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer. He served between 2000 and 2003 before Honorable Emmanuel Agwarowodo, also from Delta State, took over to complete his tenure. Chief Ndutimi Alaibe from Bayelsa State was named Executive Director of Finance and Administration, while Engineer Obong Udo Mboso from Akwa Ibom State was appointed Executive Director of Projects. Engineer Thomas Ukot took over from Engineer Mboso as Executive Director of Project in 2002 and served till 2004. The state representatives on the first NDDC board were Engineer Oke Mwabani, Abia State, Mr. Marcus Akpan, Akwa Ibom State, who was later replaced by Mr. Nsima Etuk Akpan, Chief Anderson Esiomokumo, Bayelsa State, Professor Victor Peretomode, Delta State, and Dr. Eyo Etim Nyong, Cross River State. Others are Dr. J.E. Igareba, Edo State, Mr. Victor C. Koga, Imo State, Chief Olushola Oke, Ondo State, and Dr. Shadrach Akoloko, River State. Some ministries of government also had representatives from their ministries, who were Mrs. Elizabeth Emuren from the Ministry of Finance and Miss Anne Ene Ita from the Ministry of Environment. Engineer Samuel Inyang represented the oil companies, while the Northeast Zone was represented by Ambassador Ibrahim Jimeta. Alhaji Al-Hassan Shuaibu represented North Central Zone, and Alhaji Garba Nadama represented the Northwest Zone. Immediately after their inauguration, President Obasanjo, who had directed the board members to resume work immediately, also instructed them not to have any dealings with the defunct Oil Minerals Producing Areas Development Commission, OMPADEC, which the president believed performed less than average in its task of bringing development to the Niger Delta. However, upon resumption in Port Harcourt and interviewing some of the staff of OMPADEC, the NDDC board thought differently.
So I came back to the president and I said, hey, I know you told me this, but you didn't send me there to go and create unemployment. Look at what we've done. We think these people are good enough. I said, okay, go on. You know. So we took in many of the OMPADEC people, and they already had experience, which we didn't have.
With the OMPADEC issue settled, the next step was to secure an office space for the NDDC according to Section 1, Subsection 3 of the NDDC Act. The Commission's corporate headquarters will be located in Port Harcourt, the capital of Rivers State. The law also required the NDDC to set up offices in each of its 9 member states. It was at this point that Dr. Peter Odili, the then governor of Rivers State, stepped in to support the fledgling Nddc by offering the commission an office space first at Olumeni Street in GRA Port Harcourt and then later at William Jumbo Street, also in GRA Port Harcourt, before formally allocating the Harold Dapa Birie House located at 167 Aba Road, Port Harcourt, to the Nddc.
Our first meeting was at the presidential hotel. The presidential charge was read out to us and we went to work. It was day and night. Weekdays, weekends, nobody slept. Which are the quick win projects? What is the roadmap for the future of the Niger Delta? These were the initial matters that concerned us. And that for the roadmap was to develop a regional master plan. That would be the roadmap for the development of the region, which was lacking. The governor of Rivers State then, Dr. Peter Odili, His Excellency, gave us a headquarters building, 8 or 9 story house on Aba Road that housed the entire NDDC.
Confronting the Nddc upon commencement of operations were the age-long issues of marginalization, the privation and systemic neglect that left the people of the Niger Delta in abject poverty. This situation gave birth to a feeling of resentment amongst the youths who took to violent agitation and the kidnapping of expatriate oil workers, as well as engaging in other activities of economic sabotage against the Nigerian state. By setting up the Nddc, President Olusegun Obasanjo's dream was to bring actual development to the Niger Delta and engage its teeming youths in productive ventures that keeps them engaged in self-sustaining economic activities. From the day he set up the Nddc till the day he left office, President Obasanjo used every opportunity he had to direct the Nddc on what they should be doing for the Niger Delta and its people.
There are still a number of challenges faced by government in the Niger Delta. The average Niger Delta youth is yet to have the right value orientation of self-worth and skills to earn money from. In addition, some littoral local government areas and their oil communities continue to complain about not feeling the impact of the Commission. Building on past efforts, it is my hope that the board, as a matter of priority, take measures to reverse these observable limitations. In particular, immediate steps should be taken to establish viable skill acquisition projects and programs in partnership with the private sector, communities, and non-governmental organizations.
In settling down to work, the board and management had to quickly find a way around implementing what they termed quick impact projects across the region to assuage the yearnings of the people, while still working on the areas of priorities based on the peculiar needs of each of the 9 oil-producing states. While this was ongoing, the Commission also had to carefully address the delicate issue of project allocation among the 9 Niger Delta states. The guiding principle was clear. States with higher volumes of oil production deserved proportionately greater attention. However, this had to be balanced with fairness, ensuring that no state, regardless of their production quota, was neglected or unfairly treated.
We created the equity committee that helped us to ensure that if you were the largest local government, you didn't take all the projects. If you had nothing, you must have something, so that everybody felt accommodated. So when we were looking at the quick intervention projects, we're also looking at the future. And that was what brought us to what we call regional projects. A regional project was defined as a project that cut across more than one state. Take the East-West Road, for instance. East-West Road cut across every state in Niger Delta. Take, for instance, shore protection, canalization, channelization, river training, because the Niger Delta constitutes an area of over 70,000 square kilometers. We needed to delicately balance these various interests.
Soon, projects such as roads, bridges, jetties, shore protection, canalization, land reclamation, electricity, water, and buildings for schools, hostels, and hospitals sprang up across the region to address the crumbling infrastructure and provide life-supporting facilities to the people across largely underdeveloped communities. Available data shows that between January 2001 and January 2003, the Nddc, with an estimated funding of 47 billion from all sources, awarded about 700 contracts, of which 358 were completed by June 2003. These included the construction of 40 road projects, 90 water projects, 129 electrification projects, 47 shore protection and jetty projects, 50 health centers, and 205 new blocks of 6 classrooms each. Road and bridge projects were especially critical, considering that many of the communities in the Niger Delta, predominantly oil and gas bearing, are located in difficult-to-reach riverine terrains. For years, these areas remained virtually cut off from major cities and towns, making interaction with the outside world nearly impossible. This reality placed a huge responsibility on the managers of the Regional Development Agency to provide practical solutions. The goal was clear: improve connectivity and foster socio-economic interaction across the oil-rich region. This gave rise to the idea of key road projects like the Coastal Highway, which was designed to connect all the states in the region. Others include the Warri-Escravos Road in Delta State, the Ogbianembe Road, and the Sagbama-Tumbo-Ekeromo Road, both in Bayelsa, and the Boni-Bodo Road, the 1.2-kilometer Ka-Ataba Bridge and Road in Rivers, and the Iko Atabrikang Akata Opolom Ikot-Iwang Okorotip Iwochang Road, along with the Ibno Bridge in Akwa Ibom State, among others. Some of these beautifully conceived projects never saw the light of day. Others were started but got stalled, like the Ka-Ataba Road and Bridge. But a few have been completed, like the Ogbianembe Road, which includes 7 bridges and 53 culverts cutting through swampy terrain to connect 14 communities and open them up for development. The leadership of the commission at the time admitted it was tough, but the Nddc did not give up. They were determined to close the infrastructure gap and connect communities across the region.
You must have very, very serious dredgers to be able to pump sand to fill, quite substantial meters of road to be able to achieve the type of thing we are seeing. And the challenges are serious. This is a cut-through virgin forest, and you can see that it is to buttress the point that Nddc is traversing through the communities, through virgin forests, through the thick and thin, to ensure that we connect the Niger Delta.
The Iko Atabrikang Akata Opolom, Ikot-Iwang Okorotip Iwochang Road, and Ibno Bridge in Akwa Ibom State was among the tough ones. But once again, the commission stayed focused and got the job done.
This road project that you are saying, and the contractor has had to excavate up to 7 meters of mud before sand filling. So what you are standing on right now is 7 meters high of sand. So it's a lot of work. And this is a local contractor, 100% Nigerian, and we're very proud of the work he's doing.
And it's a very substantial project, as you can imagine, many kilometers of road and a long span of bridge. And I think we are very impressed at the challenges that project, certainly has, just doing it in the environment in a swamp. And obviously they were moving forward well on that project.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo visited the site in 2006 to see the much talked about project, and he was clearly impressed. What is even more exciting, this massive project was executed by a Nigerian company, a situation that speaks volumes about the creativity and capacity of our people and the NDDC's trust in local enterprise.
I haven't seen this place and I haven't been told that it has been handled by an indigenous firm of contractors. I have a lot of hope for this region that with this type of experience we will produce in no distant future a number of contractors who are capable of handling any project of any size.
The indigenous contractor has a technical partner who is technically competent. And if we must also encourage local contractors, I think we're on course.
In the early days, the NDDC also focused heavily on improving education across the region. It rehabilitated major infrastructure in primary, secondary and tertiary institutions. One standout initiative was the construction of student hostels, 2 in each of the 9 states of the Niger Delta. Typically, one hostel was built in a federal tertiary institution and the other in a state-owned school. This helped ease the accommodation challenges and supported the school's efforts. Another major concern the Commission addressed was waste management. With the environment already affected by oil and gas activities, NDDC launched an environmental protection and solid waste management program. It acquired hundreds of waste disposal trucks and thousands of bins to help clean up communities and properly dispose of waste. To boost economic empowerment and also provide employment for Niger Deltans, the NDDC acquired 600 buses which it gave to beneficiaries through cooperative societies with very liberal repayment terms.
Calabar, NDDC, Calabar. I thank the operators of NDDC for creating opportunity to have this bus.
The NDDC also invested in agriculture by empowering youths to establish cassava farms across the region. Tractors were bought and given to farmers alongside cassava stems for them to use in their farms. The NDDC also established rice farms to boost rice production in the region. The Commission invested in water projects across the region to tackle the problem of polluted rivers, which were once the main source of drinking water, because underground water had also been contaminated by oil exploration and exploitation activities. The NDDC had to look for ways to provide potable water for the people. In the early days between 2000 and 2010, the Commission undertook and completed the construction and rehabilitation of about 1,000 water supply projects across the region. But perhaps most remarkable is the Biseni water treatment plant in Bayelsa. To solve the problem of contaminated underground water, the NDDC installed a sophisticated facility that draws water directly from the river, processes and purifies it into clean and safe drinking water for the people of Biseni and several other surrounding communities.
I think the difference this project has with other projects is that it is not a reverse osmosis process. It is a filtration process. Very easy. They are passing water through various filtration processes. In fact, you will find various fine sands, as they call it, and as it goes from one chamber to the other, the water is processed to become potable.
The NDDC during this period built many jetties which gave a huge boost to socio-economic activities in these areas. Oloibiri community in Bayelsa proudly hosts one of the largest jetties ever constructed by the NDDC back in 2003. Construction of landing jetty at Abisa community in AKUGHA local government area, Rivers State, and construction of concrete landing jetty at Eruna Ihorigo Ilaje local government area of Ondo State are just some of the over 100 jetties constructed by the NDDC in its early days. Following closely behind the jetty projects were shore protection efforts. Many coastal communities were at risk of being washed away by high tides, and the NDDC stepped in to build over 250 shore protection structures and projects to prevent such disasters in the first 10 years of the NDDC. At Ayetoro in Ilaje local government area of Ondo State back in 2004, shore protection projects at Soku in the Asaritoru local government of Rivers State in 2006, and the construction of shore protection through steel sheet piling and reclamation works in AKUGHA Bomadi local government area of Delta State, as well as erosion control and sand filling of Onuegbum in Bayelsa State, and erosion control and drainage works at Steady Flow Aranga Farm Knowledge Village in the Ikom local government area, Cross River State, are a few examples of many of these kinds of interventions all across the region. To create a thoroughfare through the waterways and provide access to so many riverine communities in the region, the NDDC embarked on about 80 canalization and channelization projects across the Niger Delta. One of such projects is the 6-kilometer Foropa Community Canalized Coastal Waterway linking Digetoru River in Bayelsa State. Awarded in the early days of the NDDC, it was formally inaugurated in February 2013. The project, which is the first federal government presence in the area, links several communities. The commission also brought electricity to hundreds of communities that had been left in the dark for many years. This was done by supplying transformers or executing full electrification projects like in Omuma local government area in Rivers State, where the commission donated 12 500 kV transformers and ensured that the local government was connected to the national grid. Transformers were also donated and installed in several communities across the Niger Delta. Beyond fiscal infrastructure, the early days of the NDDC also focused on empowerment and human capacity development across the Niger Delta. One of the standout programs was the NDDC Glow Self-Employment Business Scheme. In this initiative, thousands of youths were given mobile phones and accessories to set up call centers back when this was a booming business in the early 2000s before mobile phones became widespread. The commission also rolled out vocational and skill training in areas like welding, automobile and rivercraft repairs, electrical and electronics, GSM phone repairs, upholstery and more. The goal was to equip young people with relevant and in-demand skills that would help them earn a living and stay clear of crime and idleness. In addition, the NDDC launched computer training programs across the 9 states, a forward-thinking move to prepare youths for the digital age that was just beginning to take root in Nigeria at the time. Participants were trained in basic computer operations, desktop publishing, AutoCAD, internet management, and web and graphic design. When the first batch kicked off in May 2003, more than 5,000 youths were part of the program.
Initially, when you talk about computer and you want to tell me that I should come and sit with other people to work on computer, the first thing that happens to me is my mind steps up. But today I can confidently sit with other persons in front of the computer to work on a computer.
The early days of the commission were quite a tasking moment of addressing the deeply seated frustrations of the people, many of whom believe that the discovery of crude oil on their land brought more sorrow than joy and more or less a curse rather than a blessing. In resolving the Niger Delta question, the NDDC, apart from investing in quick impact projects, had to figure out a long-term strategy to bring sustainable development to the region. The master plan was designed to be a comprehensive blueprint for transforming the Niger Delta into a peaceful and also economically prosperous region. It outlined the region's major infrastructure and development needs and called for collaboration between the federal, state and local governments as well as other development partners. The master plan detailed sectoral interventions and aimed for integration of activities across 5 themes, which are economic development in local and urban areas, community needs, the natural environment, fiscal infrastructure, human and institutional resources. In fact, many major projects being executed today, such as the Lagos-Calabar Highway, the proposed accompanying rail line, and several others were already captured in the document. To ensure the buy-in of everyone in the region, the Commission's leadership at the time met with all stakeholders and toured the 9 states of the region, presenting the plan to governors and securing their support towards the implementation of the master plan.
The master plan, you have all described that the combined revenue of all types of government with NDDC, fully funded and consistent sharing of the federal capital projects.
All of these efforts, both in policy and in projects, formed the foundation laid by the Nddc early managers. They acted in line with the mandate of the then President Olusegun Obasanjo, who many say was very clear on what he expected from the Commission. Niger Deltans at that time were quite impressed with NDDC's performance.
We are particularly satisfied that against all fears and anxieties, the NDDC is beginning to translate into clear, identifiable, people-oriented projects the President's vision and hopes for raising the standards and the expectations of the people of this area.
Now, 25 years later, some of those early projects are still in use today. Others were left unfinished, now abandoned, leaving a bittersweet feeling about the Niger Delta story. But this moment also presents an opportunity for re-evaluation and a better path forward, one that draws lessons from past shortcomings, builds on successes, and stays focused on creating a region that is truly peaceful and prosperous.
Come see my Niger Delta.